So, I don't always do this, but I do have some topics to discuss. But because I also don't know a lot of the all of the details, but what I do know is that there have been various reports that a threat has been made by, or there have been reports of a threat being made by Iran to attack the energy power of Saudi Arabia, or the energy structure of Saudi Arabia, and they are taking the threat very seriously and monitoring the threat. But there is concern over Crown Jewel happening this weekend, and I think, simply put, as somebody that has been hypercritical over the years of the Crown Jewel broadcasts or the Saudi Arabia shows, though WWE did pull out all the stops for Crown Jewel the last time, this is the first big test for the new regime of Nick Khan and staff, and they need to understand that how they handle this situation will be looked at as their first big test as the new regime. And also, for whatever reason, Triple H will probably be meshed in there, even though Triple H is the not is the creative decision maker, not the day-to-day operations decision maker, which I believe is actually Nick Khan's official title in the company, with Steph having more business, with Steph having more wrestling and Nick Khan handling more of the business. I could be wrong, but that's what my recollection of the situation is. But either way, it is the first big test for both members of the new power structure that took over in July once Vince stepped down. The fact of the matter is, though, it will positively or negatively impact the public outlook of those in charge of WWE, depending on the situation. Because, in my opinion, if there's any possibility of the safety and security of the WWE employees being in question, then WWE needs to have those addressed within the next 24 to 48 hours before they make the look to Saudi Arabia. Otherwise, they need to look into either canceling or moving Crown Jewel to another location. I'm not saying do not look to do maybe an international show somewhere in that general vicinity, but if there is any credible credible threat, if there is any credible threat to the possibility, or any credibility to the possibility that something may happen, you cannot risk the standing of your employees, of the fans in the general vicinity of the arena. You cannot risk any of that happening while under your watch for doing a broadcast. The broadcast is not worth risking the safety and security. Whatever security precautions you have in place, whatever is there, is fine. It's fine. Simply put, it's not worth the risk. Even if you have security precautions in place, it is not worth the risk. If there is any credibility to the threat posed by Iran, you need to move and relocate the show or cancel the broadcast and maybe make it up at a later date, or just say, the safety and security of the fans and the employees is of the utmost importance, and due to the fact that we could not guarantee the safety and security of the employees and the fans, we had to relocate Crown Jewel to such and such venue, and the broadcast will go on as promoted. That the event will still happen, because I, for one, am looking forward to some events, some of the matches, but it's also then hypothetically, New Japan's sake, cancel the event ahead of time, let them know to allow the OC to appear at the New Japan broadcast, which to my off the top of my head, I can't remember what the name of the broadcast, what the name of the event is. I think it's fall something autumn. I think it's something autumn. I apologize that I don't know what the name of the broadcast is, but Hujiro Takahashi against Hikuleo is now the match set for the New Japan show. But things go awry with if things go awry with Crown Jewel, then there's no reason for the OC not to appear. Really, really mess with people and have AJ Styles appear too. I am, of course, kidding. You know that will never happen. WWE would never allow. You say that, but they're allowing Shinsuke Nakamura to appear in Pro Wrestling Noah. But yes, in my opinion, my opinion of the Saudi shows aside, if they can't guarantee the safety and security of those going to the event, whether it be the employees, whether it be or just as much the employees as the fans, if you cannot guarantee the safety and security of those at the venue, you should not hold the event. And I'm not saying cancel it, but you should look to find another way to hold the event then if you choose not to cancel it. But you need to WWE has the next 24 to 48 hours to decipher and decide what they want to do. Otherwise, they may be shooting themselves in the foot. As far as tonight, I will echo the same sentiment that AEW Dynamite will Brian Cage will walk away with the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, as the Embassy needs some momentum. And I think that this may open the door for a possibility to see Samoa Joe versus Wardlow at Full Gear. Not the end of Wardlow, but a youngster proving himself against a credible veteran. And you may say, oh, well, Joe, blah, 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 blah. Joe's credible enough to take 2 sustainable losses, especially if Prince Nana gets involved, which he should get involved against Samoa Joe tonight, to allow his guy, Brian Cage, to not only gain a title for the Embassy, but much needed momentum for the Embassy. As far as the Ring of Jericho, Chris Jericho against the former Ring of Honor champion, if he's not versing Ring of Honor World Champions anymore, just Ring of Honor World Champions, then Chris Jericho opens himself up to more possible challengers from the past of Ring of Honor, and also opens it up to an interesting idea of Wheeler Yuta possibly being the one who finally dethrones the Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris Jericho. That's something that I would consider, and it would also still open the idea for Yuta versus Bryan Danielson, which I think that's a possibility to see where we go. At Full Gear, Yuta versus Danielson would be an interesting idea. And maybe have Jericho try and recruit Wheeler Yuta into the JAS to keep up with the never-ending feud between the Blackpool Combat Club and the JAS. As far as Rampage, I just wanted to throw this out here, that in my opinion, Rampage would be better off if AEW set aside talent. It would be better off for Rampage if they set aside talent specifically for Rampage, so you had a reason to watch Rampage, because you knew you would see certain talent on Rampage that you would not see on Dynamite. It is simple, and it gives Rampage somewhat of an identity outside of being the show, which you would see Jim Ross on. one last thought that I'm gonna echo again as Full Gear approaches. MJF is clearly going to be the AEW World Champion. I think they need to, between now and Full Gear, set up the firm to be a credible challenger or credible challengers for MJF, because there is no reason why you should be ending that little chapter with the firm and MJF after what happened last week on Dynamite. But this has been my thoughts on wrestling. These have been my thoughts on wrestling. If you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you like content like this, feel free to let me know by subscribing or liking the video, because it really does help let me know what content you're enjoying. But before you go, do not forget to ding on that notification bell to always know when a new video is up on the channel. Until next time, I'll see you again soon.